A senior accountant at a Fortune 500 company opened a PDF invoice. 48 hours later, their company lost $4.45 million. The FBI got involved. The accountant kept their job. And the crazy part, the security team had every tool in place to stop it. But one configuration mistake made all of those tools completely useless. I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, show you the attack chain step by step, and more importantly, I'm going to show you the 3 configuration checks you need to run right now to make sure this isn't possible in your environment. Because I guarantee some of you watching this are vulnerable to the exact same attack. Let's break it down. First, let me set the stage. This wasn't some small business running outdated systems. This was a company with a dedicated security team, a modern firewall infrastructure. They were running Palo Alto networks for context, and they had email security in place. On paper, they were doing everything right. The attack started on a Tuesday morning. The accountant receives an email that appears to be from one of their regular vendors. The subject line, updated invoice number 47392. Payment required. Nothing unusual. They work with this vendor monthly. The email address looks correct at first glance, so they click the PDF attachment. Here's where it gets interesting. The PDF itself wasn't malicious. It was a completely legitimate-looking invoice. But embedded in that PDF was a QR code with a simple instruction. Scan to verify payment portal update. Now, retention loop number 1. Stick with me because in about 3 minutes, I'm going to show you why their EDR solution completely missed this. And it's going to change how you think about endpoint protection. The accountant scans the QR code with their personal phone, not their work device. Their personal iPhone. The QR code takes them to a perfectly cloned vendor portal login page. They enter their credentials. And here's the critical part. They enter their company credentials because they've been using the same password across multiple systems. Classic password reuse. The attackers now have valid credentials, but they don't use them immediately. They wait. 36 hours go by. The attacker is studying the organization, looking at email patterns, understanding approval workflows. On Thursday morning, the attacker logs in using those stolen credentials. Because it's a valid account, the VPN doesn't flag anything. The multi-factor authentication, the company was using SMS-based 2FA, which the attacker bypassed using a SIEM swap attack they'd prepared in advance. Once inside, they move laterally. They're looking for financial systems. And here's where that configuration mistake I mentioned earlier comes into play, and this is critical, so pay attention. The company had microsegmentation policies configured in their firewall. On paper, the accounting workstation should not have been able to communicate directly with the wire transfer system. But during a network upgrade 6 months earlier, a temporary rule was created to troubleshoot a connectivity issue. That rule was supposed to be removed after testing. It never was. That single firewall rule, literally one line in a policy base of thousands, created a direct path from a compromised workstation to the financial system. The attackers found it in under 4 hours. They initiated wire transfers totaling $4.45 million to accounts in 3 different countries. The transfers were structured to stay just under the automatic review threshold. By the time the fraud was detected the next morning, the money was already moving through a web of shell companies. Now, here's what's fascinating from a security perspective. Let's talk about why their defenses failed at each layer. Their email security scanned the PDF and found nothing malicious. Because technically, there wasn't anything malicious in the file itself. It was just a document with a QR code. Most email security solutions don't analyze QR code destinations. Their EDR solution, it never triggered because no malware was ever downloaded to the corporate network. The initial compromise happened on a personal device, outside their security perimeter. The VPN logged a successful authentication from a known user account. The SIEM saw the login from an unusual location. But the security team was dealing with alert fatigue. They were getting 500 plus alerts per day. This one got buried. And that firewall rule I mentioned, it was documented in the change control system. But the cleanup task was marked low priority and never completed. So, what can you learn from this? 3 things you need to check today. Number 1. Audit your firewall policies for temporary rules. In Panorama, you can filter by creation date and look for rules older than 90 days that contain terms like temp, test, or troubleshoot. I'm willing to bet you'll find at least 3 that should have been removed months ago. Number 2. Implement QR code scanning in your security stack. There are emerging solutions that can analyze QR codes in documents and emails before they reach end users. If you're running a modern email gateway, check if this feature exists. Many vendors added it in the last 18 months. Number 3. Your authentication strategy needs to assume credentials will be compromised. SMS-based 2FA is not sufficient for privileged access. Move to hardware tokens or authentication apps with push notifications that display the originating location and device type. Here's the retention loop payoff I promised. Their EDR solution cost them $250,000 annually. It's a best-in-class product. But it was configured to monitor endpoints. And the initial compromise never touched an endpoint. This is why Defense in Depth isn't about buying every security tool available. It's about understanding where your architectural blind spots are. The company eventually recovered about 1.2 million of the stolen funds. The rest was gone. The accountant kept their job because the investigation showed they followed all existing security protocols. The CISO, however, resigned 3 months later. The breach report is publicly available now because it involved FBI coordination. I've linked it in the description if you want to read the full technical analysis. But here's my challenge to you. Before you close this video, open your Firewall Management Console and run a quick search for temporary rules. Just see what's there. You might be surprised. If you're managing Palo Alto firewalls specifically and want to see my detailed Panorama audit checklist, I've put together a free resource that covers the 20 most commonly overlooked configuration issues I see during security assessments. That's linked below as well. Next video. I'm breaking down a supply chain attack that compromised 14,000 organizations through a single vendor's software update. The attack vector is something I've never seen before, and honestly, it's brilliant in the worst possible way. If you found this valuable, subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you spot any temporary rules in your environment, drop a comment and let me know how many you found. I'm genuinely curious if this is as widespread as I think it is. If you found this information worth watching, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content. I'm Morgan Vector, your trusted guide for cybersecurity. Thanks for watching.